Okay guys, back today with another little lifestyle vlog. Got my coffee which is finished. I mean, lifestyle vlog, journal entries. Coffee almost finished, water. Beautiful day. Gonna hit gym soon, chill, live life, can I say? Anyways, I've had a lot of thoughts on my mind lately, and I just haven't had much time to journal because I get so drained from work. I've been working a lot lately. But enough of that. Let's get into today's journal entry. Never, ever lose frame, no matter what. The moment you lose frame, you lose yourself. Now, the story behind this one is a little bit longer, and you guys need to understand what frame is. So let me first explain what is frame. Frame is the idea that you hold of yourself, your self-image, your thoughts, your opinions, and all of that about yourself. So when you think about yourself, what do you think? What degree of regard do you hold yourself to? How do you feel about yourself? What do you think when you think about yourself? What hobbies do you have? What things do you like? What things do you not like? What ideas do you have about the ability that you have? Like, what things can you do? What things can you not do? Right? And that's essentially your identity, your ego. And let me explain now my story with this. So I've noticed that every single time I lose frame, every single time I've been in a depressive state, or I've had a really bad period with my mental health, and I just felt like shit, most of the time, those times correlate with the times that I've lost frame, right? So, just to give you an example of what I mean by losing frame, I'll give you the latest example, which is arguably the worst. So I don't know if you guys remember, but in my last life update video, I think it was in my last one, I mentioned how I had that period of when I was losing my memory. And obviously when you lose your memory, that's directly linked to losing frame, because your memory is what holds the frame of yourself, right? The idea that you have of yourself, and all of the things that you've done in your life, your opinions of yourself, all of that, it's held within your mind and within your memory. So when you lose that, you lose frame, which is what happened to me. So basically, when I first came to uni, I wanted to be perceived in a much different way than I was back home, because at home I was a shy, loser, lonely type of kid, and no one really respected me, and I didn't even respect myself. So when I came to uni, I showed everyone that, hey look, I'm a guy that deserves respect. I'm a guy that not only deserves respect, but I'm going to demand respect. And I got it by acting the way that I did, holding myself in the regard that I did, and having certain beliefs about myself. So I believed myself to be that social, Chad, confident type of guy, and people started believing that about me, including my best friend, my closest friend at the time. I mean, he still is my best friend. And now at this time, going back into the future, yeah, still, you get what I mean. It was that time when I was losing my memory. I had a girlfriend at that time. Now, this girlfriend that I had, my ex-girlfriend, she was very, because I held myself in this high regard, and especially with her, and I did all this self-image, social kind of, social maxing work on myself, she didn't actually believe the truth of certain facts about me, like, say for example, my body count, right? Because I led her to believe, and I made it out that I was this social, Chad, confident type of guy, and the way that I acted, how confident I was with women, and how many women I just talked to, how many women I was friends with, what else? Just the way that I was with her as well, how confident I was, how romantic I was. She believed I was way more experienced than I actually was, and that's just because that's just the way that I am. I understand certain dynamics better than most people do with having like 10% of the experience, because I dedicate periods of my life to focusing on these things, thinking like, okay, how can I be in a successful relationship? How can I be the best for my woman? And it worked, and that enabled me to get like levels of experience with 10% of the amount of time that it would take normal people, right? So she believed that I was always lying about how much experience I'd had in the past, how many girls I'd been with in the past. And now again, my best friend at the time, also believed that I was lying about that because of the way that I presented myself. So one time while I was at work, she goes ahead, my ex-girlfriend, and asks my best friend, hey, by the way, how many guys, how many girls has Kunal been with in the past? And he said, honestly, I think around about 12 to 13, but don't tell him that, because he tells me it's only 3. And now, she obviously then goes ahead and tells me, because she's now going to question me, thinking, hey, wait, what the hell? You told me 3 as well. Why does your best friend think that's a lie? Why? Like, she's obviously going to question him, and she would obviously think that, hey, if anyone knows the most about him, it would be his best friend. So, bearing in mind at this time, I'm losing my memory, and I'm already losing frame, and because obviously this guy had held me in such high regard, he thought that I had a much higher body count, when in actuality, matter of the fact was, I only had three girls that I'd been with physically at the time. So she came to me and asked me, hey, this is what he said, why did he say this, blah blah blah. And I just lost it. I broke down, not lost it in an anger way, but I broke down, and I was like, I don't know how many girls I've been with. And not out of abundance of like, oh, it's so many I can't even count, but rather the loss of frame. I couldn't remember. I'd already been losing my memory, so who knows? I could have even slept with 30 girls. I don't know. And think about how much of an effect that can have on you when you don't even know the number of girls you've been with, when that means a lot to you. Like how many girls you've been with. A lot of people don't really care about it, like, oh, I've been with this many girls, blah blah blah. I don't really care. I don't care how high my body count is, but for me it's something that matters quite a lot. So I've always strived to keep it quite low, and only physically be with girls that I deem fit. Judge me, don't judge me, whatever, I don't really care, but this is my personal way that I like to do things in my life. So as soon as I found out that this is what he believed of me, my best friend, I broke down. And the reason being is because his belief of me was stronger than my belief of myself, than my self-image, than the ideas that I had of myself and my trust in that. His was stronger. And I believed his view of me rather than my view of myself. Now understand how bad that is. Imagine believing what someone else says about you rather than your own self-image. What the ideas that you have of yourself. And that's how it can lead to depressive states, to even craziness, like madness. I think you can get really crazy or like insane from this sort of stuff when you start to question your own frame. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't go crazy, I didn't go insane, but I was just broken and I crumbled. And I literally was like, especially to lose frame in front of a woman like that, I lost respect for myself as well. But the only way that I could actually know the truth was I had to ring up my sister and be like, how many girls have I slept with? which is so funny when you think about it. Like, imagine having to call your sister to know how many girls you slept with. But she was like my right hand person at the time. She was the one that knew everything about me. So she obviously told me what I thought to be true, and only then did my ex-girlfriend get off my back about it, and did I finally calm down and think, okay, thank God, I'm not losing my mind. But honestly, think about how crazy that could have been. When you start to doubt yourself, when you start to question your memory, that was a really deep period for me, because that could have gone so much worse. I'm so glad it didn't. But that could have gone so much worse, to question everything about yourself. Which is why I always try and explain the importance of, hey, don't believe the doubts that you get. As soon as you start doubting, it can spiral out of control and take control over you, and then you lose your mind to it. You don't want that to happen. So don't do what I did and start questioning everything. Hold a very, very strong belief of yourself, and believe that to be the utter and absolute truth, because ultimately it is. Not what someone else thinks about you, not what their belief is of you, however you've presented yourself, whatever. What you know to be the truth is the truth, and that's what matters. Now, whether what I did was wrong in terms of my self-image and boosting it up to look a certain way at uni, whether it's morally right or ethically right, whatever, morally or ethically wrong, that's up to debate. But the belief that you have of yourself and the regard that you hold yourself in is what matters at the end of the day. So, what regard do you hold yourself in? And retain that, no matter what. Don't question, and don't think of anything against it. As soon as you start questioning, you begin to overthink, and once you begin to overthink, you start to doubt, and once you start to doubt, it just keeps going and going and going. And that's when you end up in some of the most worst places in your life. So don't do that. Don't be like me and make the same mistakes that I did. And just to reiterate the point, never ever lose frame, no matter what. The moment you lose frame, you lose yourself.